Al Jazeera, all these press TV, RT. That's going to be the #1 news. That's going to be breaking news. Breaking news. America has been destroyed.
And you know, RT, they do that segment where they don't talk. They just show.
That's Euro news. No
RT
comment.
does it too.
Oh yeah, no, they do, but they got it from.
Okay, right.
But you're right.
Right. But that's bad, man. They don't talk. They just show pictures. Like if they're showing the Greece riots, they'll show people in Greece going crazy. There's no.
And they won't say nothing. They'll say no comment news.
Right.
But the Euro news started that.
So can you imagine when America's destroyed? You're going to have that no comment news. They're just going to show cities on fire. They're going to show this was Chicago.
That speaks 1,000 words.
Or this was Hollywood, California. It's gone.
Up in smoke.
Up in smoke. There you go. Oh, the brother got it. See? I was not lying. I was telling the truth. That's from outer space, brothers. Now that's just two buildings.
I've seen it before when the first.
Right. Brothers, that's just 2 buildings. So can you imagine the whole of America? That's why the earth is going to, it says the darkness is going to cover the earth.
And you know what? When them buildings went down, I remember when they went down. I was working on this job, and the supervisor, he had a small TV, and he said, look, you got to come see this, man. And when I actually saw it, I saw that they didn't televise the first hit. So while we were watching the building on fire, all of a sudden I saw it, the other, that we were like, holy shit, you know? And it was like surreal. And then I was making deliveries, right? And every place I went to, from about 9 in the morning till about 11:30, I would go to a lot of office buildings, and people's head was down, they were all messed up. And then at around 12 o'clock, what they did was, all the office buildings, they just closed down. So you could see people like around 11:30 and people leaving and going home, man. And then there were certain deliveries I made at bars, and you seen what was that on Tuesday?
Tuesday. That's Tuesday.
Yeah, normally everybody's at the bar on a Friday night. Well, Tuesday was like a Friday night. The bars were packed and people were drinking. Edomites, they were drinking, they were talking, and then they had the TV, they were watching the whole thing, and they were talking. Oh my goodness. I remember that, man. When that happened, that literally changed the whole world. And that's a little event. That's not a major event. A major event is when America is destroyed. When Babylon is destroyed. And it's going to happen. How do I know it's going to happen? Because the Most High said it's going to happen.
That's right.
And where did he say? How do I know it? Because he left it to us in the book.
Right.
That's the judgment.
So we know, we know America's going to be totally destroyed.
Absolutely.
Anybody on the soil of America, they're going to be destroyed.
Thinking about that game, I remember a really good happening. I remember President George W. Bush in Florida with a bunch of black children, which he never be around black people.
Well, it was a setup. It was like Nero and Rome Burns. Nero was like he was playing a lion from the side of the Greeks, and he was singing this poem, this song from a Greek war.
He was reading a book called My Cat and Dogs.
Exactly.
He was reading it upside down.
He had it upside down. Now, what does a goat represent? Sacrifice. Satan and sacrifice. Okay.
So those morons in the Trade Center, they were being sacrificed, even as it happened.
Because the Israelite nationals and so-called Jews from Israel that were born in Israel, they were told, don't come into work, something will happen.
Yeah, right.
All right?
That's why there's no Jewish casualties. So-called Jewish casualties.
Well, there were Jewish casualties, but there were people that were born over here.
Okay.
That were like Americanized. The national Jews, most of them was told, don't come into work. Why? Just don't come into work. Something's gonna happen. Okay?
It's crazy because with that being said, all the people that work in the trade center, nobody ever asked the question why all these people didn't come to work before. Like it was a national day off. Like it wasn't. Like you got people that died in it, supposedly over 3,000 people. But it's way more than that.
That's right. There's more than 3,000. They just used that. There was a lot of illegal immigrants working on them. in there, right?
You know, Mossad probably warned. Mossad probably warned.
Oh no, it's Mossad. Well, you mentioned the Mossad. If you go, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but if you go to YouTube and you put in Mossad celebrates World Trade Center, what they did was these Mossad agents had a van that they painted the World Trade Center being hit by planes. And I believe they were somewhere over in New Jersey, and they were, when the World Trade Center got hit, they were clapping. And they arrested him, right? When they went to process him, a call came from Israel and said, look, let him go. And they said they let him go, man. But they had an actual van. Somebody do that, man. Somebody go to YouTube and put in Mossad agents celebrate down World Trade 9/11. The Mossad is like the Israeli version of the CIA. All right? As soon as y'all got it, let me know. Could be. That, don't, you know.
No.
But that's what. But they made sure he was outside of D.C., outside of New York. Now I heard his brother Marvin Bush. He was the head of security. He had a security company. I forget the name of the company. But the contract ended the night before the contract ended, if I'm not mistaken, on September 10th, 2001. All right? They had FEMA already there the night before it happened.
They're doing a drill, right?
They were doing a drill. Okay?
Also, you got Jade Helm.
What's this? What?
You got Jade Helm doing drills. So what does that tell you? That something major is about to happen. And you notice, right? They're not even speaking about Jade Helm. You got something on Jade Helm, you can bring it out.
So you know Agenda 21.
That's it. That's it.
Agenda 21.
It ain't no.
Yeah, the brother found it.
2030.
Yeah, you notice, brothers, they're not even talking about Jade Helm. Jade Helm is the next one.
Name of the security company had the Twin Towers. The name of the company is Arc Device Security.
Doing surveillance on the Arab American community. Were there men celebrating or
But it said that the contract ended
we never see
the night before the World Trade Center. And really that was an insurance job to get a whole lot of money.
Larry Silverstein, right? The guy who owned the World Trade Center.
Silverstein, yep. He said the other building number 7. I remember that because we were locked up in the damn tubes and we were watching it, right? And that's when that documentary came out a year later. And he said, yeah, we had to take down building number 7.
It was still
meaning, what do you call that? Implosion.
Yep.
You know?
So you know Agenda 21, right? September after the Helm is over, they make it Agenda 21 is getting transformed to 2030 agenda. There's basically 17 new agendas that they got for us, for our people, for Israel. It's basically talking about eradicating all the poor and impoverished people.
So they get ready to do their thing, man. Another month from now.
Hey, remember that movie Hunger Games? They had everything was set up in districts. You know, you had the richer places and you had the poorer places. The other movie, Out of Time, you know, with this guy, what was his name? Justin Timberlake. You know, you had to have a certain amount of money to live. You know what I'm saying? And then when that shit ran down, you had to re-up that time or else you would die. But then the ones that had the big time, they were living good. You know,
Kind of like a chip, right?
yeah, pretty much. You know, so they had to keep regenerating it every so often. Otherwise, they would just drop dead. You know, so they everything is going to be put down to classes. You know, you got the elites. They're going to be controlling the whole entire world. But then you're going to have people that's in subjection under them. Because they want the people that's on top governing to be a small number, so they can control the majority of people. That's why in the Georgia Guidestones they want to kill off, what, 6.5 billion people. Because as right now, it's over
like 7 billion people.
I'm sorry,
because it keeps going up.
Yes, it keeps going up. You know, so they're saying by like, you know, a few years from now, it's supposed to probably be up to 11 billion, 13 billion people. Because people are right now at this point, people are being born rapidly, and the earth is being populated because the Lord is about to bring His judgment, you know, upon the earth. So the Lord is going to kill two birds with one stone.
So in other words, something major can happen in September.
You know, and I think they said September 23rd is what's it called? It's like every 7 years you have like a Sabbath.
You have a no, not a Jubilee. No, the Jubilee is supposed to be coming up, the so-called Jewish Jubilee, and the year of release.
Right. Yep. So that falls in September. So I think it's September 23rd. You know, and they're saying that every time some certain event happens on the planet or whatever, they always try to do it in the so-called Jewish holidays. You know. So it remains to be seen what's happening. And that Jade Helm thing, if you notice, you don't really hear much about it. They had a little something on RT.
Even Alex Jones thing say he made a big build-up, but when it happened, and Alex lives out there, so they don't have cameras out. They gave him a call. They said, "Look, don't say nothing." Because Alex is an insider, any goddamn he's an insider. He's giving the script.
Okay, Yom Kippur. Yeah, so you know, I mean, that's how you know more than likely this Jade Helm thing is going to something's going to come out of it, because everything is silent. Before, whenever it was something that was not going to happen, it'll be all over, broadcasted everywhere. But now you don't really hear much. So they could have an event or a group of events that take place, so that being that the military is already out in the cities, they could just implement martial law and just have the rest of the troops come in and
they
do what they got to do.
Justification. All right?
That's right.
So when they come in, people accept them in. Just like up there in Watertown in Boston.
Yep.
That was nothing but a martial law.
Trial run.
They were going through people's house, banging on the door. You know?
I believe they said there was 1 million people that was locked down at that time period in Boston. 1 million people couldn't go nowhere. They had a curfew.
And them stupid ass people up there were with it, man.
Yeah.
They were applauding the military for coming in. Tell me, don't you know that same military gonna lock your ass up?
In the movie Red Dawn.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the new. I saw the old.
Implement martial law.
That's right. That's what they're gonna do. And they show, before they do anything, they show you that in the movies. Batman. Exactly. You got something? Go ahead.
Psalms 36:1. The transgression of the wicked saved within my heart, that there is no fear of God before His eyes.
What do you mean again,
Right, Psalms 36:1. The transgression of the wicked saved within my heart, that there is no fear of God before His eyes. For He flattered Himself in His own eyes, until His iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of His mouth are iniquity and conceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon His bed. He said,
in other words, before he does it, they think about it. His vision is, man. Then they make it happen.
He deviseth mischief upon His bed. He said of Himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Psalm 37:12. The wicked plot up against the just, and gnasheth upon them with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming.
And that's why we want this thing to come, man. We want this white man, this Edomite, this Esau, however you want to call him, this Idumean, all right? We want him to fucking stop playing around and pussyfooting, as Lahab would say, and go ahead and do what you got to do, man. Go ahead and push that chip, man.
Break it all.
Go ahead and push that, implement that market of beast. Hey, Nate made a video the other day on a radio show, and the title of it, was a market of beast. He didn't even talk about the market of beast. He put that in there because he knew people were going to watch, because they figured, well, he got new information to book what we're saying. He's saying the same old shit. His kingdom is dying, man.
Yeah.
His kingdom is dying, man. Now it's being revealed of women that are leaving the thing. They're saying that them guys went raping them, beating them up, kidnapping them.
The Lord says the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. And Nate is a hypocrite. There's videos of him teaching the name of the Lord about, almost 20 years ago. And all of a sudden now we don't know the name of the Lord. Yeah. When in the video he's all expressive, he's all into it. And you know how he does his thing. Now 20 years, fast forward 20 years later, we don't know the name of the Lord.
Mocking too.
Mocking the name of the Lord, mocking the name of the Lord's Son. Hey, Galatians 6 and 7, brothers. Be ye not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So Nate is going to pay, man. He's going to pay. You don't mock the name of the Lord and his Son. Think about that Egyptian that mocked the name of the Lord. And the judgment was for him to kill him. Yeah, for him to die. He was killed. Slow, brother. No, he ain't no man of God.
Hey, can I say something? That dude Nate.
Keep coming out, brother.
That dude Nate, man, he's a cop, man. He's a goddamn cop. Now, the reason I'm bringing up the thing about him being a cop, he went down to Ferguson when that whole thing with Mike Brown. When that whole thing with Mike Brown went down, Nate went down. Me and the brother Karab was talking about that. Nate went down to Ferguson to so-called protest against the police, right? His group went down there to Ferguson. You know, Mike Brown got shot up and shit. He's a cop. It was the cops that killed Mike Brown. So you going down there and you like protesting against the police, but you a police, man.
He's a part of the fraternal order of police.
You a part of this shit.
All the police in this country are a brotherhood.
Yeah. He's
fraternal order of the police is a brotherhood. Yeah. Okay.
He's a
wall of silence.
Nate is a fucking hypocrite, man. He's a goddamn hypocrite, man. Okay.
You see that beret he's wearing? That represents the 10 toes.
Yeah. And the guys that wear that is predominantly special forces. The dudes that wear the berets like
the
that.
The bottom part represent these with the U.S. military. But the 10 that you wear on the top represent what power force you're fighting for.
You mean the badge?
You have,
You mean the badge?
The patch or the badge.
Yeah.
So you have coalitions, right? You have coalitions. You have Axis. What do you call it? Axis. What's that term? The Axis forces, the Axis powers. Yep. Allied powers. All right. Well, he represents the U.S. military, whether it's Air Force, Army, Marines. But when you put that tab on, you're part of that coalition.
Right.
Okay? They did that back in World War I and World War II. They had a coalition, man.
Like the UN, right? The United Nations.
Yeah, like
they wear that. Don't they wear them blue helmets?
And that represents the UN army.
They got their own SEAL, the UN troops, which could be United States, France, England.
When the war is over, they can take the TAMs off.
Yeah.
Because they're not a part of that coalition.
Yeah.
All right.
So that goes back to the old. That almost goes back to the old thing with the militia. Because the army is only supposed to be formed in time of war.
That's right.
There's not supposed to be a standing army according to the
Constitution. The army, the so-called U.S. Army, you saw the commercials.
That's unconstitutional.
That's unconstitutional.
That's an occupation.
You have an ongoing army.
Yeah.
Armies are army. The army that the U.S. Army represent basically is a corporation. What you do is you put together an army. All right, you put together a standing army, and you get the soldiers from the militia, which are U.S. citizen males between the ages of 18 and 25.
That's right.
So you ain't supposed to have no fucking standing army, man.
That's a feudal system, man. That's called, we live in a feudal system. You got to stand in the army. Now, if a riot breaks out in New York City, what they going to do? And the police can't handle it. They're going to send in the National Guard. That's the army, man. They did it in the LA riots when Rodney King got beat up. And niggas and Mexicans went crazy out there.
Well, they did it with Ferguson.
Ferguson.